Tony Tokunbo Fernandez show is all about promoting the true life and success stories of African and Caribbean achievers around the world. If there's a product or initiative you wish to share, feel free to give us a call. The number is 0788 280 9005. A very warm welcome to all our listeners around the world. You're welcome to the Tony Tokunbo Fernandez show, promoting the true life and success stories of African and Caribbean achievers around the world. So if there's a product or initiative you wish to share, feel free to give us a call. The number is 0788 280 9005, or check out our website at www.tonyfernandez.co.uk. Last week we're in Egypt, and now we're back in Bradford, City of Culture 2025, and it's the season for elections coming up in a few weeks' time. And I have with me today Nagbea, who is going to be contesting for the MP Independent Shipley area for Bradford. Nagbea, welcome to the show once again. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling okay, Tony. Yeah, I've just come from the Bradford West hustings at the university, where a fellow candidate from the Independent Party, Mohammed Ali Islam, was on the hustings with Nagbea and Nigel Moxon, the Labour and Conservative MPs. It was very good hustings.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So in a few weeks' time now, there'll be many decisions that are going to be made in the country. But here in Bradford, it's going to be very, very interesting. You are contesting for the Independent, for the Shipley area for MP. What's the journey been like so far?
It's so far for me. It's the second time this year actually I've stood in the electoral process. I stood as a local candidate in May, and obviously we were expecting the general election to be called a little bit later this year, but it was really dropped on everybody and caught everybody by surprise. So with the real help of the people of Shipley, who helped to raise some of the finance necessary to pay the nomination deposit and some of the publicity that we'll need, we've basically put a team together to stand myself as an independent candidate in Shipley against the 19-year incumbent Conservative MP Philip Davis, and in the shadow, in the spectre of Starmer, is Anna Dixon, who would be the Labour candidate. So we're really standing in that constituency to try and build an independent socialist representation really for that constituency.
Now, the call for elections came as a bit of a surprise for the whole country.
Very much so.
And it must have been a big surprise for you yourself. But what are the greatest lessons you've learned so far during this campaign period?
The greatest lessons, well, I'm still learning them. I'm on the road. It's a permanent road for learning. But really, what I've learned so far is that there's some fantastic people who, given the opportunity to help and assist in building a campaign. You know, for example, today our constituency has 17,000 households in it. And we're trying to get leaflets, our advertising leaflet, our candidate leaflet, into every household before the 4th of July. And 4 people helped today to pursue that task in Nagbea. I think we delivered about 600-700 flyers and spoke to many members of the constituency. Some supporting what our initiatives and some of the ideas we might have, and some firmly entrenched in the existing ideas. But we really feel the sort of tendency that I represent really is a tendency that's come to the conclusion that the political dispensation we have at the moment is really not taking people forward in the country and representing the majority of the people's views. It's representing somebody's views, the industry, the military establishment, but not really the people. So we're trying to really bring some of that, some of the views of the voiceless to the fore, and see if we can get some representation.
Let's talk a bit about the black voters in the Bradford area and the black voters around the country. When you look at the manifestos of all the parties at the moment, what do you think is very relevant and important for black voters in Bradford and around the country. How does your manifestos fit into that as well?
Well, my tradition, I suppose, I've stood really, one of the things that propelled me to stand was when I found that in Bradford, for instance, in its entire history, there's never been an African councillor, which I thought, we've got a smaller population, we've been dispersed over many areas of the city, but really we've not had any representation, so we tend to have to have other groups of people representing our interests. So part of the reason why I'm standing is to bring my experience into my community, so we can see if we can, as the future goes on, build a more authentic representation and voice for African people in Bradford. Now the ward I'm standing in at the moment only has probably about 1.6% Afro-Caribbean potential voters. Probably some of those are not registered. And I think for us, the most important thing for the black community, I think, across the UK, is to get some authentic representation, like to deal with some of the issues that we all face day to day, and that they're always on the bottom of the list of considerations of mainstream politics. And even though it might appear from time to time that there are black faces in Parliament, their ability to shape policy and manifesto manifesto commitments doesn't seem to be that great, and they don't have that great an influence, and we need to really begin to rectify that.
Okay, and it's very important not only to be in a position of a decision-making process, but also to take action when you're there. On a very final note, I want you to use the last 2 minutes to talk to all our listeners in Bradford and tell them why they should vote for you in this coming elections in Shipley.
I think, 2 minutes. I've just come from the hustings where people were given 2 and 3 minutes to speak. Really, I think people should vote for an independent candidate in wherever they're standing, because what the independent candidate is bringing forward at this moment in time, and it's a growing movement of people and voices, is it's bringing authenticity. Most of the independent candidates come from the communities they live in. They've got a long, I've lived in this city, I was born in this city, I've lived here 66 years. And the people, I know the community that I'm in, the community I'm in knows me, and they know the work that we've done, all the time we've been here to try and improve the conditions of all people, generally the poorer people, of which black people generally are the poorer people in the cities around the UK.
Thank you very much, Nagbea. We wish you the very best in a few weeks' time. Keep shining all the way, and we'll spread the word.
Thanks a lot, Tony. Thank you.